All right, let's find an equation from the graph. Let's look at our first one. This is an x4. Now we haven't talked about that. It's a little like the quadratic. You can see how it looks like right here for an x to the fourth, right? Well, what would happen if I did this to this very x to the fourth? Now notice, this one reflected, so I know it's negative. But notice the starting point is not at 0, 0, but what? 0, 2. So I believe what happens on this one, and that one is at 3, 0, just moved over here, but it is negative. So think about it. This one here, it reflected, so it's going to put a negative in front, and it also went up 2. But notice, the negative is only on the what? X to the fourth, because it's not down at negative 2 here. Now this next one, it reflected, and I believe it's going to be reflected outside of parentheses, and this will have to be in a parentheses, but it won't be positive 3, it will be a negative 3 here, with a negative outside it right there. That would indicate that work the problem normally and then make the whole answer, whatever you get for the positive, you're now going to make it negative. So then there is a fourth to the right there you can't hardly see just because we're running out of room on our board. All right? So think about this here, reflections and shifts. Compare the graph of square root of x. All right? What's going to happen with this here? Notice, here's the parent function. So what's that going to do to it? If you look back to what we saw earlier about reflecting, it's inside the function, so it's going to reflect it across right here. This one right here, I'm sorry, this one here reflected it straight down. The positive one right there, the negative one there. This one, it's inside, so it's not going to move down. It's going to actually move it to the right like that. Okay? And then this one right here, think about it. It's affected plus 2. It's like in parentheses. So it's not going to be 2 to the right, but 2 to the left. And then that negative in front is going to simply what? Shift it then down. So you have to be careful. Remember, negative outside shifts it from up to down. This one's going to shift it basically from right to left. And this one was moved horizontally and then shifted right there. So always look at the parent function, what it looks like, and think how it could possibly be changed to move over to look like the new one that it's made. All right? And all of these are limited because what can x not be? X cannot be a negative. So x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Here, x has to be less than or equal to 0 because the negative times the negative makes it a what? Positive. And here, we have to be greater than negative 2. Might be hard to see that part on the board right over here. But if I have negative 2 here, what's negative 2 plus 2? 0. That's why it shifted 2 left for that graph right there. All right? Doesn't mean we can't get negative answers for y. I just can't have a negative inside the square root.